Oop, bump it just as I turn it on. Okay, we're back to the motor here. Okay, I went and put some fine sandpaper on here and knocked off some of the burrs and stuff and a little bit of rust. So hopefully now it drops into the oil pump like it's supposed to. So let's find out. Let's see, I got the ball in here somewhere too. That does not look like a 3/8 ball to me for some reason. Is it just me or is it too many hours? Yeah, it's 3/8. Okay. Okay, another ball. This one's 3/8 too. It is. Guess I use ball here. Stick in the pump. I lapped the pump earlier. I'm going to take a aluminum rod and just give it a whack. That's enough. Lap marks leave out little high lines. When you beat on it, it mushes them down, gives you a sealing surface. And after you do, you pull the ball out. Ball's out. So this is my lapping tool, piece of rod with the ball welded to it. And you lap it. When the ball starts getting a big flat spot in there, you cut it off, put another ball on it. You put a little lapping compound and you just rotate it back and forth and wobble around the hole a little bit. And that's how you lap the pump in. Not too hard to do. Okay. Is that got a turn plug over there? Yep. Timing hole plug somewhere around here I saw once. There it is. Not the right one, but it works. Let's put that in there to keep the dirt out. Okay, so put a little bit of oil in here. I think someone in there, I couldn't tell. The ball that came out of it. You got the light spring here you use. You got the cap it goes into. She'll have to plug it out until I put this in there, the oil line fitting, but oh well. So I use a big bit. My impact knocker, which should be over here somewhere. There it is. It's in there. Simple. Okay, now we got this one here. It's our pressure valve. Some oil in there. In there. This should now fit in there hopefully. There's your spring. Make sure it's good spring. Yep, it's a spring. Slid in there nicely like it's supposed to. This is the lake cap. Sealing washer for it. Pretty straightforward. A wrench here. That's enough torque to go. Should be an oil filter. An oil pump piece here. Here it is. Here's the oil switch adapter that sticks up. Put a little sealer on it. That's what this is. Teflon pipe paste. Comes out the bottom of the tube where it's broken. A little bit on the threads there. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. You have to have the oil pump tight before this goes in, so we already did the oil pump. So. This has a helicoil in it, so I'm not sure why it doesn't leak. Got a couple of these washers sitting over here, so I don't know if those are in there or not to make it seal. It looks like they're about the size that you would use in there. They fit on there, so we're going to go ahead and use them. Helicoils will not keep things from leaking. Obviously, they leak right past the helicoil. Okay, that looks like it is a, watch your finger. I don't know if you guys like being that far away or not. Hear me blow it for a while. You can tell me if you don't like being blown up. I like watching what I'm doing. That's enough torque. The switch is right here. Tapered pipe. It doesn't take any kind of a seal on it. It just takes a little bit more goop on it. Tell it's been gooped before, right? I'd rather have that loose. I'm not going to tighten this up right now. To get the bolt on here and tighten the motor mount, I like having this out, I think. So I'm just going to lay it in there loose. It's a bad habit to do stuff loose like that, but I don't want to have the hole open either, so it's kind of a trade-off. It's a risk of running the bike and losing your oil pressure. Just like I lose the alignment. Leave the timing oil plug loose over here. I used to do that all the time for customers because I know they got to time the bike. They're going to be over there. The dumbasses wouldn't time their bike and their plug would fall out. You think you time your brand new motor, you know, it's just because it starts up and running doesn't mean it's right. It just goes to show you. Okay, now we have to move over to this side. We're going to be back in here again, I'm sure, so I'm not going to put it together for real. But I am going to put it together. Because you have to have it together enough to mock it up. Okay, so again, our oil pump drive gear's got to get put in here. So let's see. Okay, we already got our key stuck in here. Blow this up a little bit, we can see it. Where's our new gear? Okay, this is our new gear. So this one doesn't matter which way you go, and it's the same on both sides. No, it does make a difference. He has a bevel on this side, and there's not nearly as much on this. So the heavy bevel goes in. We're going to have to rotate this to get it past the other gear. Our oil pump rotates pretty freely, so it's not as big of a problem on some jobs. See, I can just shove it in because our oil pump works so nice. Otherwise, you have to rotate the crank to get it to go in. So when you rotate the crank forward, it goes on. When you rotate backwards, it comes off. Okay, now in the early model they had a spring here and a split sleeve. Yeah. Always good to have them on the floor. You don't need a spring. You do need a sleeve. Put the sleeve on it. The sleeve keeps the gears from coming together. This would be the other gear right here. It's too close. Okay, there should be a nut around here someplace. Here it is right here. Here's your special nut. It's 3/4 inch. Just have my tool out. Here's a tool you use. Goes like that and it rotates it. And it goes over the snout of the crank so it can't slide off. If you use an open it and wrench on there, it rounds the nut off and you don't get it full tight and it comes loose and causes issues. Make sure you put the key in there, otherwise it just kind of goes on there. It can be anywhere you want. Only one place is right, where the key is. So the pinion key is a skinny one. All your main shaft keys are the fat ones, so you tell them apart. Okay. Put that in there like that. You can tap it with a hammer or use a pair of channel locks. Channel locks will compress the key in there too. Okay, then the gear should go on. And I just tap it on my steel hammer a little bit. When the gears start getting hard, quit hitting on it. I'm on it pretty freely. You want to know what the torque is? This is backwards thread too. It's that much. This will put out 175 foot-pounds. I run more than 90 pounds air. I run 150 to 175 pounds air, so it might put out more. Anyway, when it quits torquing, it's tight. Okay, now you rotate and make sure the gear is not wobbling. If the gear is wobbling, the key's probably not in the right spot. See how it doesn't wobble? So if it's going like this as you're rotating, it's wobbling. If it goes up and down like that, that ain't good either. And obviously look at the pinion crank to make sure it's still running true also. Okay, so everything looks like that's working correctly. So we're good with that. Okay, now we throw it up on the ends. Circuit breaker here. A little lubricant on everything. Especially oil pump drive gears that are down there. Don't put them together dry. Oil pump has a lot of load on it. Those gears don't get lubed except after the whole motor's been lubed. Okay. After it's in there, go ahead and spin it a few times and make sure the whole gear gets lubed all the way around. There we go. Back up in the air. Okay, now in an early motor you got two sets of timing marks. One mark there, one mark there. I don't give a crap what the timing hole mark over the other side is. I'm working on the cam. Don't care about the other side. Everybody for some reason wants to line up a bunch of marks on all over the boys. Now this one goes in here. Make sure it works in there nice and freely. It does. Okay. This one's rotating on us, so. Okay. Why did that jam in there? Okay, quit rotating on me. Rotate around until it lines up. So it lines up. That means you're in there good. Something just fell off. Don't know what that would have been. Okay, this here is your cam mark. Okay, the idler gear doesn't care how it goes in, it just drops in. Make sure it's flush. Usually one side's flush and one side's not. Pull it back a little bit. See, that's not flush. Sticking up on the one side. Tripod screwing with me. So, flip it back over. That's how the motor keeps twisting on this. What the hell? There it goes. Tight spot in there for some reason. Okay, so that goes in there like that. So now I gotta see why we got a tight spot in here. I don't know why. And what fell out? Nothing. Turn turns freely, so that's all that matters. Okay. Back up here. Okay, get back to our timing marks. This time it timed up, it lined up. Next time around it won't. You have to go twice around to make it line up again, see? Okay, here's our cam. Wipe it off. Use your clean rag, called a shirt. Okay, this has multiple marks on it. The key goes up. So the 0 is up. I think. I gotta look. We have an instruction sheet. So instructions tell you how things go. Turn the light off might help, I don't know. Not really. Okay, this is advanced retardable gear. So normal is A is up for advanced, R is up for retard, and normal has a 0 sticking up, or the key. These are key locations. So if you look in here, there's a key. Turn the light back on. See, there's no key in that hole. No key in that hole, but the key over in that hole. It's up in there. It's also right here where that mark is right there. That's a key. See, there's no other mark on here. The gear is keyed onto here. That's why there's a key in there. So if you want to advance or retard this gear, you take the gear, you press it off, put on R for retard, put on A for advance, you rotate it, shove it back on, it's timed, but you have to use a different set of timing marks when you put the motor together. So that's why you have to know where you're at. So this one's straight up, so that means it's in right on the money numbers for normal. So that means this goes up in the air. So what I'm going to do to make it simple, I'm going to take my fancy marker, I'm going to put it up in the air like that. This is the one we time off of over here. That should be the mark. It says 0. Okay, I got our thrust washer here. Gotta make sure that goes into the motor. So see how it's cut? So if you put it like this, here, it fits in, but the problem is the lifter hits it right here. See how the case is cut away? So flip the washer over. The two titties keep it from rotating. See, now the flat matches where the lifters come in. The rear lifter block is closer to the case than the front lifter block. They're offset. One has to be first. The rear is first. This is the rear lobe, that's the front lobe. Okay, we have a washer here on the for our thrust washer, a little thin one. Actually, I'm just going to put some oil right here on the cam to hold that on. There we go. So timing mark that. Make sure the ignition timing in there is good. Make sure this is good. See how we're not quite on where it belongs. Boom. Now we're timed, 0 mark. Now this line over here is for the breather. This is your time breather. It goes right in there. It's timed. So you got your mark for the cam, here, breather, and this one's for ignition. Doesn't matter about the alt and generator, that makes no difference. Now I'm not using a stock breather on this bike. So we're not using this piece of crap. I'm building a hot rod motor. I'm going to put some parts to make it work. So what we're going to do is we're going to be running this. S&S reed breather. It says right there, it fits panhead, see? 1993 to 99. So Someone just asked me in my oil pump video about would I think it needs a rebreather or not on an old motor. The answer is yes. Do it all the time. I only have one customer complain about it. The motor's timed. You know, make sure you put the spring in it. The spring keeps it from moving around. The spring pushes against the cover right here and shoves it down and keeps it solid. Now, it doesn't matter which rotation you put that thing in there because you have 3 reeds in there and it blows all the way around the whole hole. Doesn't really matter. Wherever it goes in, it works. It doesn't rotate. It doesn't matter if the breather hole's screwed up. It don't make no damn difference. The key is though, when the pistons go up and down, when the pistons go down, and you start making pressure over here, it blows the reed up, blows all the oil over the cam and stuff and lubricates it, and it gets the oil out inside the cavity, over in the flywheel cavity, and it gets it over into the motor, to the cam chest where it gets down, the oil pump goes out. Now when the pistons hit the bottom and go back up, then the reed closes because there's no more positive pressure because it goes neutral. It closes and then you draw a vacuum. When you draw a vacuum on your piston rings, it makes the piston rings pull down against the ringland here and makes the ring seal better. You get horsepower. It's free. Use it. Now when all that works correctly, you won't have much oil in the bottom of your crank down here. You don't want the flywheels in the oil, but it has to be in oil for the oil system to work. It's a trade-off. That's the problem with this design. I like having an oil pan down here and suck the damn oil out, and the flywheels never see any oil. That's what you ideally want, but these big twin motors, they don't work that way. Twin cams do, everything else doesn't. So that's how it's done. So the reed opens and closes when it's supposed to, not when the motor says to do it. This here's a time breather. It rotates, it opens and closes the window and blows out this screen. Nobody said it was timed correctly for your application. If you got a big stroker motor, your pistons close and open at different spots. You got a high RPM motor, it's like a cam. The cam has to be in front of what's going on, otherwise it's late. Same with the breather. The breather's never on time correctly. I used to go in there and cut the cases out all the time to make them breather correctly. What a pain in the butt. This here, put it in, forget it, you're done. Simple. Best thing S&S came up with in a long time. Maybe ever. Okay, now this is the one that we ground down thin. It goes there. Where's the other one out? It was out. Yeah. It may have been out, but it disappeared. Too much crap on my bench. Yeah. It went bye-bye. Me no see. Does that mean we don't need it? There it is. Wrong. We do need it. Okay, that goes there. Okay, there's 2 ways of doing these. You can put them together without the snap rings, or you can put snap rings on them. Now, what the snap rings do is they keep this here at a certain dimension so it doesn't move up and down like this. Now, you can put a snap ring on this one, and this one would stay put, and only have a minimum amount of clearance. Otherwise, it's going to hit inside the cover here, and whatever clearance you got it has. Now, this gear here, shaft, has no snap ring. They didn't put it on there, so it's going to rub on whatever it rubs on. Now, the reason they had those on there is because if you took the cam cover off, this parts would stay put. Obviously, this one here, all this stuff can come out and get dropped in the dirt. Doesn't really matter which way you do it, they both work. It can't only come out until it hits the cover, no matter what. The thing is, when you get it all set up, you got to make sure you have the right clearances. That's why I checked them earlier. If they're too loose, you got to grind it down. If it's too tight, you got to put shims in there. Simple. How it works. Okay, here's my gasket. Now we got everything in here like we're going to run it, except I didn't put the spring in there because I know I'm coming back into this. This is a mock-up. We're not put together for real. The reason it's a mock-up because I got a race cam in here and I got a lot of work to do on the head yet. Plus I don't even know what kind of heads I'm using yet. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to make that decision when I get to it. That's getting pretty quick too. Okay, always make sure you put lubricant in these bushings because they run dry. When they run dry, you lose the bushing, and it tends to tear up the motor. Okay, everything's in there. Oh, the other thing I don't do. This stupid thing here. The screen right here. The famous screen. Okay, that's supposed to go in here somehow. It's supposed to keep the engine breather separated from the going outside. So your engine breather on this bike works by going through here, go down the cavity here, come out this tube. There's another tube in the case down over here. The two tubes go like this, and this screen's supposed to be between them somehow to keep the oil from going directly in and out onto the ground. This goes down that tube that I cut off on the other side. This one over here. Later bikes it just comes right out the back. This bike it comes out here, goes down here, comes out here. It's supposed to lubricate your chain. There's a chain adjuster screw right here that you're supposed to lubricate your chain with. You adjust how much oil goes into the system. It's all been deactivated. We're not using any crap. So, the problem is this thing doesn't fit between the two breathers. It sits between that and the bottom hole down here. So what the hell is it really doing? Not a damn thing. Harley eliminated that damn thing in the 70s. All comb motors don't use that breather. All generator motors had the damn thing, except maybe 69. 69 we don't know. They did a lot of weird stuff in 69. Now later on in the 80s, they're having blow-by problem. They stuck a widget down inside of here, which is like an auger. You know, it makes the path longer to get the oil out. Whatever. I don't worry about it. I leave the damn thing out. You don't need it, don't use it. So we'll put that on there like that. I'm going to put a few screws in here. I didn't line up the cover yet. Stupid gasket doesn't like going in. Put one over there. Put one over there. Put one in there. Didn't want to go in there though. Get the gasket up high enough to get the screw in there. It's in. If you have sealer on it, it's held in the right spot. Without the sealer, the gasket's free to interfere with the hole. Okay, I'm just going to put a few screws in here just to make sure everything's on there. I'll put one more up here in the front. Okay, that's all started. Bap it on down. Now before we put this together for real, I'm going to have to tighten these all down real tight and make sure I got inflay and everything. Now the cam was a little tight before. There was some chrome on the end of the cam bushing. I knocked the chrome off and put a file on, make sure there's no titties on it, and I don't know what the inflay right now is. Hopefully it's a little bit looser than it was. We'll find out in a minute. Okay. Now this should rotate freely if there's no problems. And I just stopped hard. I just ran the cam into my gear. So, why is it hitting on the gear? We had it all ground out before. What the hell? They just nicked up my damn new cam. Bastard. So something's different in the cam timing than what it was. Clunk. I'll get the other side a little. Alright. Got 2 marks on my cam lobe now. Pull out and check to see the cam timing. Something's different. Got 2 nicks in my cam lobe now. Alright, well, we have to check that. Okay, we do have in play. Very, very little. Got a lot on the idler, but that's when it froze up last time. And the circuit breaker is the other one. Minimal. Cam in plays real close. A lot tighter than I want it to be. It's only got about 2 or 3 thou. It's too tight. We'll have to do something about that. Need at least another 5 on that. And I don't have a washer that I need. Okay, so for some reason, something has caused that to hit. I don't know why. So that's something I have to deal with later. Okay, I got a new plug here that has some, it had top-end oil feed coming out here for shovel top. So I have a new plug here to use. Couldn't find any used ones. What good is that going to do? Nothing. What the hell? Unless the case holds it in a spot. The case will hold it a little bit. Harley never run any seals on anything when they put motors together back in the day. I don't know why they're trying to. Alright, let's see. I don't have a filter screen in here because I don't have no stupid ass hydraulic system. That's not going to fit. Smaller bit. I got a mechanical lift here, so it doesn't matter how much trash is in the system. If you got trash in your motor, you got trash everywhere, so what's the difference? The compressible washer is going to get loose now, just watch. Okay, that's in there. Alright, so I can't mock up my motor because we have an issue now. So that means when I timed the motor before and ground my gear, there was something not right. Timing mark was off or something, but I know I checked it several times. It's hard to believe it's off. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why. All I know is it shouldn't be a problem, and it is. And now my cam lobe's got a nice chunk out of both sides of it. See, I got a big lift cam in this thing. It's, I forget how big it is. It's a big one. And you know where the cam chart is for it. Not here. Means I got it somewhere else. Anyway, it's 550, 600 lifts, some stupid number like that. 625, I forget. It's a big lift. Got a lot of duration to go with it too. Yeah, so don't know why the hell the damn thing hit. I had less sleep than I have now. Not by much though. Oh, I can't see it now. Okay, now I get this cover off. That switch is in my way. I think it's going to be in my way. It's out of my way. There it goes. Binding so much. Tired. Screwing with me. Got no nails. They're all ripped off. Trying to keep me just low, throwing everything on the ground here, but screw it. It's not letting me do what I want to do. Fuck it. Trying to avoid that. Alright. So what the hell is different here? The only thing I can figure is I didn't have the damn gear lined up, but I know I had it all in there. See, puts a big nicks in my lobe right here. Yeah, big one right there. Chunk. Big rust spot in it too. So did I have the cam gear in there wrong? Yeah. It's me, dumbass. This 0 does not line up with this. Something ain't right. Alright, what did I do wrong? No, I did like they said, but it ain't right. It ain't right. Ain't no stinking way that's correct. Marks on the camera not going to be right. Something is not correct. Yeah. Too tired to figure this crap out. So you got an O right here, O on top, because we're in normal position. And you got the A off to the side for timing the breather, which is exactly what I'm doing. problem is it doesn't line up. The O is in the center of the tooth. The O is in between the tooth. And this one's in between the tooth. You can't have two in between the tooth. That means you're half a tooth off. One has to be, it has to line up like this. You can't go together with like this. That don't work. So if you got a mark, well, this mark should be at the tit, and this one should be at the valley. Then it lines up. Right now we got two like this. That don't cut it. Because this 0 is in between two marks, two keys. Two teeth. And the mark on the on the gear over here is in between two teeth. So this one's on the tit. That one would be correct. My guess is I probably timed it off of that one, but that's not how it should be. So this is bogus. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah, I'm too tired to figure about this stuff now, so screw it. I'll worry about it tomorrow. Timing's screwed up, that's all I know. There's that noise I heard. It was a nut fell off the end of this. There's a washer over there somewhere that goes on that. Alright, so we're going to figure that out tomorrow. Hoping to get the motor together tonight, at least this part, but oh well, not happening. I'll figure it out tomorrow. But right now, this is bowed. So, deal with it tomorrow. Clean rag. Put the clean rag on top of the motor before you put it to bed. We don't care about the cam because we already do it. Alright, well, we run into a big problem. We'll have to figure it out. Alright, it's time to get the hell out of here. I'm tired. It is now after 2. That's about when I started doing videos last night. I uploaded, what, about 20 hours of video last night? Alright, well, I'll go home and work on these videos too. Then I'll get to bed before, when the sun comes up. All the way up, I'll be probably still working videos before I hit the sack. Oh, we'll get back on this tomorrow. Try to get the rest of this motor. I need to get the most of the motor pretty much done tomorrow, but I haven't even started on the head yet, so we still got to figure out our heads. I don't know what I'm using for a head yet. I got 4 or 5 different things I can do. Alright, that's it for tonight. We're out of here.